It's Spider-Man #1 with the JJ Abrams, Henry Abrams combination. So, how is it? An amazing Spider-Man Mary Jane story, right? Uh, hey there, this is Perch. It's Spider-Man #1. This is a four-issue, five-issue series. I think it's a limited series at any point, by the father and son Abrams and Sarah Pacelli, who left Fantastic Four to do this, or left Fantastic Four anyway. I don't know about to do this, but she was hired to do this. So the book opens up. Well, there's spoilers here, and the one thing I guess I'll say before I get into all this is that the solicits and the information about telling an amazing Spider-Man story, big high concept, big movie type Spider-Man, um, that is sort of what you're getting. You are getting something that feels and reads like a movie. And I suspect when you have all the issues, you read it in one sitting, it will have like the first act, second act, third act kind of beats. And this is probably the first, third of the movie, first quarter of the movie. It definitely has that feel to it. And the other thing you should know is that the solicitations lied completely about what you were getting, especially the second and third issues. There was definitely some misleading going on as to what this story was going to be. This is, for lack of a better word, this is an Elseworlds story. It's not in current continuity. It could be the future, certainly. Who knows? But it's painting a future of a possible Spider-Man. But this isn't the 616 Peter Parker Spider-Man Mary Jane. That's not what this is at all. And you as you're turning the pages, you get a huh. That's kind of the big reveal that I think they were shooting for. But it's going to also leave a bad taste, I think, in the mouths of a lot of fans who came in expecting one thing and got another. Whereas if they were just upfront with what you were going to get, I think it would have landed a lot better. But hey, we get some really nice illustrations here. Sarah Pacelli is doing a great job. I think better than her Fantastic Four work. There's a really nice marriage between really good color, really good art, and colors by Dave Stewart. You got to give him an immense amount of credit here. But anyway, it's huge battle, huge explosion. Mary Jane's running to Peter. Peter has just had a major problem. He's had a major battle. His arm is destroyed. It looks like it is in really bad shape. And she's like, the rules are different now. You know that. And he's like, yeah, I don't really like being Spider-Man anyway. And we don't quite know what they're talking about. But anyway, the relationship seems different from the current relationship. And that is because, spoiler, they are married. They have a kid. So up comes Cadaverous, which is this kind of big Akira looking like techno villain, and he sends his people after Spider-Man, but it's a losing battle. Peter is fighting, but he is getting kind of beaten. He's like, "Run, MJ, run!" And MJ is impaled by Cadaverous and tossed off of a bridge, like they always are, and she dead. And so Peter Parker, swings out, grabs her, saves her, and that's where that first scene ends. So it's very much how a big action movie might open. The first 5 minutes of just shocking, killing Mary Jane. Peter is broken. His arm is mangled and gone. And then we move right into a funeral. Peter is there with his son, Ben Parker. And Spider-Man saves us all. So 12 years later, we catch up. Ben is a unruly teenager. He is on his own. He's cooking his own breakfast, waking up on his own. He goes to school, and there's a bully, and he's got power to basically throw the bully through a door. What's strange is he's literally throwing the bully through a door. So he has powers, clearly, but nobody else kind of gets it. Principal's reprimanding him, but nobody's like, hey, this kid has powers, which is like, oh, he's being an unruly teen. No, he tossed a bully like twice his size, like a giant football guy, through a door. So anyway, whatever. That's just that would need some work in the editing room if it goes to film. Peter comes and pick him up looking like his best Keanu Reeves impression. And we see that Peter's got a fake arm because he's a prosthetic arm. And Peter is trying to say, you've got to stop. You can't just, lash out all the time and kind of, Ben Parker saying it's protecting someone. And he's like, yeah, but you got to be smarter than this. And they're having that kind of classic father-son argument. Peter definitely being a distant dad here. Drops Ben Parker off at home and takes off for the airport. He's trying to go in and he pulls the whole door off. And he's like, how did that happen? Um, there's a the part that keeps taking me out of this story is that Ben Parker is doing clear superhuman things, and he's like, "What? What could be happening? Oh well, I guess I'll go upstairs and read." So in comes Aunt May. He's basically being watched by Aunt May. He misses his mom. Obviously, he's in detention. He strikes up a conversation with a rebellious teenage girl who's fighting the patriarchy here a little bit. Um, Sexist dirtbag and not be reprimanded. And, so they're having a little conversation and she's got green paint on. That's supposed to be a nice human moment, I guess. We flip over to Cadaverous. Cadaverous is sitting in some, he's eating meat and he's sitting in like a, super TVs everywhere kind of way. I'm looking forward to the day, by the way, when villains, they've got TVs everywhere. This is very much an 80s kind of 90s concept. Now with AR and those kinds of things, you don't need flat screen TVs everywhere. This anyway. The future sucks, I guess is what I'm saying. So he's spearing some hot dogs and having a good time, and then he's looking over what looks like a cloning tank or something where he's trying to either save or clone or regenerate some female person here. Is it Mary Jane? It might be. It's drawn differently. The eyes, the body shape doesn't look like Mary Jane, but who knows? It could be Mary Jane in there. And then, some more talk between Aunt May and Keanu Reeves, Peter Parker, and, reminding him he has power and he needs to be a father and so on. And that takes us back to Ben, who's hanging off the ceiling and doesn't know how this could possibly be happening. That this this is he's got these powers that seem proportional to a spider. So Aunt May comes in. It's like, hey, you need to see this, and she takes him up to the attic and she's showing him old photos and letters and things, and then finally, the costume, the costume that Peter wore. Presumably, he gave up being Spider-Man after Mary Jane died. And then, she's showing him, here is the costume. You'll find out what you need. Very Moana-like. You'll find out who you are. See, it's those old grandma women. They always screw up. They're always there to send you on these crazy, dangerous paths to find your path. Anyway, so that's how the first issue kind of wraps up. It's called Bloodline, something that I don't remember them really promoting ahead of time, which would have also indicated where we were going with this. Get a nice little forward from, I believe this is Nick Lowe. Which Nick is this that's just talking to us now? I'm pretty sure it's Nick Lowe, the editor. What other Nick could it be? Anyway, so they're going and they're talking a little bit about the comic and this kind of pitch for a story and this thing that's always wanted to happen. And hey, you're not ready for the tip of the iceberg, you promises. We've got a journey in store for you. This story goes in so many unpredictable directions that I wish I could just blurt it out. I think we've seen the biggest missing direction or misdirection here, and that it's different from kind of what we were advertised. So anyway, where will this all go? Is this the journey of the hero? Or are you going to see where Ben Parker lands? Is it Ben Parker turning evil? Maybe that's an interesting take they could do. But that's Spider-Man #1. I don't think this series got a lot of hate when it came out because it's like, oh, nepotism. Nepotism is wrong. JJ Abrams, his son has only got the job because of his dad. And I mean, yeah, I guess so. I think it's when you're a rich, famous star with a lot of money and a lot of clout, then yeah, you can set up projects for your son. And the question will be not, should he be allowed to do that? Well, yeah, I mean, JJ Abrams worked hard, got himself in the position where he could make those kinds of calls, and that's called success. The trick will be now, will his son be able to craft a good story? And we are told that they are working together. This isn't just, JJ Abrams there for name only and the son's doing all the work. It is a combination. It reads like some of JJ Abrams' work, by the way. It has that feel and that fit. But we'll see where it all goes. We'll see how it lands. If this story kind of picks up and tells us something really kind of memorable in the long run, then I don't think anybody's going to be complaining about nepotism. It's a story and it worked out. But a lot of road that has to occur here. So we'll see how it can actually land. I think the idea of the alternate timeline and Ben and kind of the story we're telling here, or maybe Marvel will claim, no, this is the real timeline and this is what will happen when Peter and Mary Jane get married and have a kid and all the rest. But it's not the current moment in continuity that we're all dealing with. Okay, that's fine. Let's see where it all lands. Let me know what you think of this comic. I mean, it's not people predicting the worst thing ever. I don't. It's not the worst thing ever. It's kind of benign in a lot of ways. It's almost a by the numbers kind of origin story in a lot of cases for the son. I mean, you could kind of expect all of this. It feels like we've even seen this before, where Peter Parker has turned into kind of a bitter, kind of loser to some extent, and not connected with his son, and just you have this feeling. Um, I don't know. This has a lot of familiar notes to it, which is probably why it has a little bit less impact, because it does feel like we've seen all this before. But who knows? We'll see where this goes. So leave a comment below about what you thought, where you'd like to see it go, or were you put off by the bait and switch, if you will, of having it be, about kind of Ben Parker more than Peter, and kind of those elements of the story. I'd like to hear that. Otherwise, like, subscribe, click the bell for notification, and follow me on Twitter at Comic Perch. Thanks for listening.